Hey everyone, it's Brennan the Paleo Dude, and I'm back with another PaleoNerds collab video. I have two of my friends and fellow Paleo nerds, Luke and Dapper, here with me, and we're going to be looking over some paleo art and discussing various different speculative body parts, such as quills and feathers and coloring and all sorts of stuff. And we've got a few artists lined up here that we know from the Instagram community. And if you guys would like to pop over to Instagram and show these artists some support, that would be greatly appreciated. So shall we dig in, guys?
Let's go.
Yeah. So we're starting off with PrimalArtSoros, and they have this stunning piece of a Pachyrhinosaurus. You can see the colors are very interesting. I love the darker tone to it, and we'll be diving into that right now. So Dapper, you want to talk a little bit about the colors?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. Well, one thing you can definitely see like right away that bam, based off of the Sinoceratops from Fallen Kingdom, which is, I think, for this situation, a very, very good choice because of the simple green and the white underbelly make for, an overall generic quote unquote color scheme, but it really works when you take into account the black, like the black feet and the huge boss and the horns that are also black, and the yellow orangey spots on the top of the head that make it pop.
That's really great.
I think overall it's a great design in my opinion.
How does that reflect the environment it might live in, or maybe some of the animals it might interact with?
I don't know. Well, now that I think about it on a base level, maybe it could have helped it to, blend in with its environment, or like as a giant bush, if you will. And definitely the bright red spots are an obvious have an obvious purpose for scaring off predators or using them to attract females and such. Usual.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you for that amazing input, Luke. How do you feel about the battle damage on it and the use of quills?
The battle damage looks really neat. It adds a nice touch to its overall design. The quills, I like how they're placed. In my opinion, I'd probably have them a little bit bigger, but that's just my point of view. But overall, I think it's a good design.
Yes, I love that too. The quills really stand out on the neck. It's not really something that I'd think too much about, but having predators going for the neck and having those quills behind the frill gives a lot of interesting extra sort of protection if they are more quill-like than hair-like. And I also like that kind of bite taken out of the side of the head. It might be maybe a scratch mark. It shows this animal had a really decent history. I also look at the black, kind of darker black browny feet. It kind of reminds me of like a swamp-like environment as well.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's move on to the next artist and their art piece. We've got Blue Troodon 64, another member of the PaleoNerds. And you can see she's got this really interesting design based off of another artist piece. And I think this may have been for a contest of some sort. So Dapper, you talk a little bit about maybe the color.
I think the color, it definitely deviates from what you normally see with feathered dinosaurs, because generally you see very, very colorful color schemes, if you will. Like, of course, sometimes you get like the realistic groundhog velociraptor or raven microraptor, but I think this one is sets it apart from different, from the norm, if you will, for feathered dinosaurs by basing it off of a pre-existing design that was originally scaly, as you can see on the top right corner of the picture. And I like how the on the tail fan, especially, like I like how the tannish white transitions into a smooth dark black like that. Well, over, of course, over a longer extended period of transition, but I like how it goes from white to black. That's cool contrast. The feet also make sense how they are distinctly different color from the rest of the leg, in that they would have been, dark, something you see in modern day birds where it's like, the foot is generally a different color with the different types of scales and whatnot, the smaller details that definitely, while minor, definitely go a long way in terms of their importance.
Exactly. And I like that transition from the artist's rendition to her rendition. It shows more like accuracy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But of
Luke,
course, both designs are great in their own way.
exactly. Yeah. Not saying either one is less or more of a good piece of art. Yeah. Luke, how do you feel the color shows what type of environment it may have lived in?
For the color, I feel like it would live in a more like desert environment with lots of sand, bushes, and it resembles the color of the feathers that it has. Um, Able to blend in easily with its environment. And yeah, I think its color is for like a desert or dry environment.
It definitely feels like that. I feel like it definitely would have aided in maybe hunting prey in that deserty environment. I love it. Overall, great
And
design.
Agreed.
it's a very interesting take on it. I like it.
Absolutely. Okay, next artist we have Paleo Sauce, another member of the PaleoNerds community. And one of their art pieces, we have a pronunciation. Dapper.
Oh, Shivivia. I don't know. That might not be right, but I think it's Shivivia.
Yes,
Please
that
correct
that
me if
name.
I'm wrong.
Okay. Um, for this adorable little dino, can you tell us a
Beautiful.
little bit about its history actually? Because maybe I or the audience might not know about maybe some new updates or past revisions this guy has gone through. From
Yeah.
what you know.
So historically, Shivivia and its other relatives, called the Alvarezzosaurs, are generally depicted as very reminiscent to like Gallimimus in terms of very long necks, very ostrich-like body, and their famous one claw, which scientists still don't know what it was used for exactly, but most, of course, agree on digging for bugs and termites and stuff, poking into their mounds. That might be an outdated theory, but that's what I remember from last time, and it makes sense.
Hmm.
Recently, this guy has gone through some patchwork with some new finds, and well, it produced this adorable little fluff ball of a dinosaur.
Oh,
Absolutely adore. It's like a little puffin.
that is so cute. Thank you. That fills in a lot of history for this guy. Luke,
And I'm so sorry to interrupt,
no
but
worries.
the Shavivia is very important among the Alvarezzosaurs because it's one of the more complete species of Alvarezzosaurs, and a lot of what we know of Alvarezzosaurs is based off of Shavivia.
Oh, that would make a lot of sense. Having it the most complete, the rest of the species that are found, they kind of use it as a base for them, right?
Yes.
Nice. So that fills in a good gap of history for this guy. So going off that information, Luke, how do you think the new appearance of it may have helped it in its environment?
From what I see, it would help regulate its body temperature. I'm not sure if it had that amount of feathers, but from what I see on that image, regulating its body temperature, keeping it warm in cold climates. And it would look like it's a pretty little fast dinosaur. Doesn't have wings, so it can't fly. But yeah, I think it'd be pretty good for cold environments and keeping warm.
I see that too. Definitely reminds me of a sheep, right?
Definitely a sheepdog.
Oh, and those little legs, so fast. What's the Roadrunner? Roadrunner kind of reminds me of Roadrunner in a sense.
Yes.
Oh, you know who's up next? We have the Fossil Scout, another member of the Paleo Nerds, or past member. I don't know. He's still kind of mingling with us, and his art is pretty wicked. He's done a few commissions for us, and this one specifically is a Dilophosaurus. I'm not sure if it's based off of the updated depiction. Um,
Probably not.
Probably, yeah. The crest isn't really reminiscent of that, but in specific, I see those big feathers on the back of the neck. I see an interesting dewlap. Dapper, you want to provide more on these?
The dewlap. The dewlap is definitely one of my favorite go-tos for drawing dinosaurs, although I don't use it all all the time. And the interesting thing is the dewlap. You know, it has like many different purposes. Excuse me first.
Bit of technical difficulties.
Probably getting a sip of water, my guy.
Nah, it's fine. I personally like its color scheme. I feel like its colors are a bit odd. from
Mm-hmm.
the coloration from its face to its crest to its neck.
Yeah, I see that.
Because in modern day birds, you see colors are more fluent throughout the body. The crests are obviously a brighter color, most likely for attracting mates or for territorial display.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like the design overall, but the color could be a little bit different in my opinion.
I agree. It could definitely flow more in the feathers, right? And to the head.
Agreed.
Because you see more, the skin's like a darker color, right? And then the
Yeah,
feathers tend to be lighter.
exactly.
Yeah, and I would expect the back feathers on the neck to have some coloration too, or if there's some sort of display purpose, they wouldn't be so transparent like that. Kind of,
Yeah.
they look like downy feathers coming off the neck, like really large ones.
Actually, for me, they look like emu feathers, to be honest.
Oh yeah, you're around a lot of those because you're in Australia, right?
Exactly.
And you see all the colorful birds and the birds of prey and emus. I wonder if he actually took inspiration from that because if you look at the neck, does that look like emu coloration or feathers as well?
It does look like emu feathers, and since emu feathers are all bunched up, they look a lot darker, but one feather alone looks like one of those, definitely.
100%. Dilophosaurus is around the size. No, he's bigger than an emu. He's bigger
Yeah,
than
he's
an
probably around
ostrich
the
too.
size of an ostrich or a little
It's
bit bigger than an ostrich.
Yeah. Wait, it's 3 or 4 meters?
it's 6 meters long and 9 feet.
Whoa. Oh, how long is the Allosaurus?
30 feet long.
How many
The
meters?
average. Also, sorry about that. I've gotten word that I'll have to unfortunately depart from this video.
No worries. We only have 5 minutes left. And if you want, we could end it here.
Nah, it's okay. Do the rest without
We
me.
got one more. No, we got one more.
Oh.
One more. And it's you.
Oh, wait,
What?
look at that.
Give us a little
Yeah.
input on your color choices, dude.
So a lot of them were based off of, well, of course, Jurassic Park, because it's my favorite film franchise, obviously. Well, I think we can all universally agree with that statement here.
Yeah.
But some of them I've decided to, take it in my own direction. So, for example, the Carnotaurus is its own unique design, while loosely based off of not famous, but well-known designs such as Toro from the new Netflix show Camp Cretaceous. I decided to give my own spin on it by giving it a sort of different pattern. I gave it a kind of redwood back, like a redwood color scheme back with interestingly striped legs. And I thought those looked interesting because they are very reminiscent of birch trees. If you ever seen those are the white,
yeah.
like the black patterns on them. And
Yeah,
I thought,
especially in Minecraft, my favorite wood.
Yeah, me too.
Appeared like a tree, even though it wasn't that tall, but still, it would be a fun concept to play around with. The Triceratops, as you can see on the top right of the picture, has a very not Triceratops color scheme. My main idea behind that was one word: Oreo. I went with the very interesting, in my opinion, the striped horns around, you have white stripes around the horns, which would provide some more attention to the horns specifically to make them look more bigger and cooler than they really are. Of course, that's not detracting from how cool Triceratops is. It's wonderful.
Yes.
And I think the overall generic color scheme, I think that's a word that's very popular in this video. The overall generic, quote unquote, color scheme of the white, black, and gray, I think it really works for a dinosaur like Triceratops because it's a very big, slow going herbivore. So it would be fitting with those types of colors. What do you think?
I definitely agree. It reminds me of Polacanthus and Iguanodon from Walking with Dinosaurs, the coloration, right?
I didn't know that. Yeah. Oh, I didn't have mind when I was making it.
What about you, Luke?
I actually love all the colors. It really brings out the detail and it just brings out everything of the animals. And the Carnotaurus I really like because Tora is probably my favorite overall dinosaur in the Camp Cretaceous show. But in general, I think it's really nice. I like how you portrayed them.
I definitely agree. They're unique, right? They're unique in their own sense, and each dinosaur pops out more with these color styles. I feel like the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World color styles are some of the most staple yet diverse grouping. and I love the iconicness of them all.
Like, for
Agreed.
example, Parasaurolophus. I couldn't have done another color scheme because I love that
No.
one. So I had to include it.
Yeah, exactly. It's too staple. So we've got 1 minute and 50 seconds left in our video. So we're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you two so much for joining me in this review. I appreciate
No
all the
problem.
collabs we do, and I'm really looking forward to more in the future. And I can't wait to look at more art. I feel like this is a very fun thing to do. It shows creators off really well to the community, and it also gives us kind of topics and not information, give us media to cover, which is fun.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Sure.
hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.
See ya. It was great talking with y'all.
Hell
We
yeah.
did it! Oh, and we're good.
Still recording, dude.